Okay, I'm with Mark Rogers, Chief Executive of Birmingham City Council, at the launch of the 21st Century Public Servant Report. Hello, Mark.
Good evening, Nick.
This report, why do you think it's relevant? In fact, why do you think it's relevant to people who live in a city like Birmingham?
Well, it's relevant beyond a city like Birmingham, but the reason it's so important is the nature of leadership's changing, frankly, and it's about time my peers and the wider public sector paid a little bit more attention to that than they've currently been doing. So what this report does for me, I guess, is 3 or 4 really key things. The first one, it simply brings together the latest research, the latest thinking about what the next generation leadership needs to be. So that's important in itself. But it does a little bit more than that, actually. It's spoken to real people about what they think the future holds, and it sets out some really important ingredients that have personal resonance for me, and I think will really get traction both in the City Council here and in the wider public sector community. So, for example, it talks about municipal entrepreneurism, a bit of a mouthful, but what that really means is let's at long last move away from this horrible new managerialism that we've all been locked into and get into a much more creative, innovative space that says what we're actually here in our jobs to do is not kind of the old-fashioned bureaucracy. It's to be really inventive with local people about what the future of local services needs to look like. And we're freed from the shackles of having to do old things in the old ways. We can even, dare I say it, be commercial in our mindset. So that's kind of the first thing I want to say. It's the right time, and it kind of frames this in the right way. The next thing I want to say, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to nod to Catherine Howe at this point from Public Eye. It starts to recognise in the right kind of way the fact that the nature of power is changing. And I'm really interested in that. I don't want to sit in the town hall as some sort of heroic leader, pulling all the levers, telling everybody what to do and expecting them to jump. This is much more about recognising new relationships with local communities, with individuals even, and that there's network power out there that's much, much more potent than the kind of centralised power that we've been used to in the council house. So that's kind of really key to me. I think the third thing I'd say about this is it starts to suggest that there's a pan-public sector leadership. So I think the report could go further, but I'm really interested that people are at last starting to think that there's a set of characteristics that aren't just about local government chief execs or NHS chief execs or whatever. This is something for the whole of the public sector. And I guess actually, if I was being really honest, it's probably about the community and voluntary sector and even the private sector a little bit too. And then, of course, the final point is my party piece. So I'm going to bore you, as I've been boring everybody else with this. My party piece is it's all about being led by values. I really love the notion of values-based leadership. It's the right place to start. What we should be doing is rooting everything that we want to do in a core set of values, which really for me are articulated simply as making a difference every day to local communities. So I love the report simply because it places that centre stage, and we can again move away from that kind of old new managerialism that I think has made us hidebound, frankly, to a whole set of ways of working that are becoming increasingly redundant.
I mean, to me as a citizen it sounds fantastic, but the culture of local government currently is quite tied into that managerialism. It's not going to be an easy transition. Yeah,
unlocking it's going to be a big deal, but I think that's why I'm so excited by a report such as this, that it's going to help build that critical mass that will get us some momentum to make things change and stay changed. So yeah, small steps. There's not enough of us out there that think this way. I have a sufficient superiority complex to think that this is the right way to go. So a report like this just helps build that collaboration, that common purpose, and we will start to change the old culture.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank
you. To all of us, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't about me. This is about us. This is about Birmingham. And actually it's about the pan-public sector agenda as it rolls out across the country.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good.